All right, everyone, welcome back to our wellness seminar. This is, of course, Busan International Wellness Conference 2020. We're coming up to the second last presentation of the day. So to all our participants, whether you are joining us here at the venue, which is very limited capacity due to COVID-19 prevention, or whether you are at home at the moment enjoying from the comfort of your pajamas, perhaps, this time of the afternoon, we welcome you all. And right now we've got a very special opportunity to hear about the key to building self-capacity for wellness with Dr. Ashton Cho, the founder of Mindfulness Korea and an official instructor for the Google-developed Search Inside Yourself mindfulness program. I will inform you in advance, we do have a journaling exercise, so all our participants here already have paper and pen provided. However, if you are at home right now, please do get yourself a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil so we can all do the journaling exercise later on as well. Additionally, we do have a short meditation, so there will be no Q&A time at this session unless we've got a little bit of time at the end. We'll see how it goes, but we're not anticipating having much time for Q&A. So if you do have a question, please use our next break time and we'll see if we can answer some questions at that point. Okay, please, ladies and gentlemen, huge round of applause for Dr. Ashton Cho. 금박수 부탁드립니다.
Thank you, Laura, for the wonderful introduction. Can we see the presentation okay? So, to start off, who's heard of wellness? Hands up. Okay, so most of us should be here, some of us shouldn't be here. This is a wellness conference. All right. Oops. Who's heard of mindfulness? Wonderful. And of you, who has a mindfulness practice? Wonderful. So today's puzzle is going to be this. How do the two go together? I mean, we see them a lot of talk about mindfulness, a lot of talk about wellness. We've heard some statistics about how the wellness industry is really booming. Same with mindfulness, it's really catching on in Korea under the name of 마음챙김 and 명상. So how do these two really go together? And I'm going to try and challenge one of the, typically we put forward about 3 solutions. When we're young, one of the solutions is normally optimal, 2 isn't. I'm going to challenge that and suggest that there are 3 good solutions. You won't be seeing much more of this pig later. But before we do, let's briefly recap the definitions of the 2 concepts, although here I think we're all experts. But we'll just go over that to be able to see how the 2 can come together in 3 different ways. So first of all, with wellness, I'm sure all of you here are experts. I found that there are about 3 components to it that are central. The first is with regards to being conscious and self-directed, rather than being static. So I am pursuing my own wellness in a way that I'm conscious of it, right? And how am I doing that? With certain behaviors, activities, and pursuing a certain lifestyle. And the outcome of that is some sense of optimal state, holistic health, fulfilling life, full potential. It's a mouthful. And the second part that I found with most definitions, and some of you have referred to these sources such as the Global Wellness Institute, this National Wellness Institute, this is UCSD Wellness Center. It's multidimensional. So it's not just about diet, it's not just about the mental or the spirit, it's about the body, it's about the environment. And UCSD has financial wellness too. So we're pursuing this multidimensional wellness consciously and proactively. So just to summarize, there's 2 points to remember moving forward. I think one is that it's active, conscious, and self-directed. And the second is that what we're directing towards is holistic and multidimensional. So what's mindfulness? This is Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, arguably the father of modern mindfulness. He brought the practice of mindfulness from the East, partly from Korea, brought it over into the West, into a medical setting. And he defines mindfulness as this, and many of you may have come across this definition, It's an awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose in the present moment without judgment. It's quite a long sentence. Essentially what it means is that our awareness is on the present without any judgment. And that's it. Our awareness is on the present. I picked up another definition from American Psychology Association. The first line is the same as what Dr. Kabat-Zinn said. And the second line we're seeing here is that it's a state and not a trait. It means it's not inbuilt in us. It's a type of mental quality or state that I can achieve or I can intentionally get at. And lastly, it's not synonymous with meditation. So we can achieve some state of mindfulness through meditation, but we can also be mindful without meditation. So this will be an important distinction when we move forward to see what kind of 3 different combinations we have. So just to summarize mindfulness, it's about a state or quality of mind. And what is that? That is about the present moment. And it comes from the Pali language, sati. So going back to the 3 solutions. The first one is going to look something like this. As I said, wellness is multidimensional. It's holistic. And the most easiest way to think of the function of mindfulness is as a component of wellness. And you can imagine out of the many components, health, microbiology, movement, it's going to deal with the part which is emotional, mental, and spiritual. So the easiest way we can think about it is that we can include it in our wellness programming as a type of activity and experience to have, a form of meditation, if you like. And actually, this is a very small part of meditation and very small part of mindfulness. There are many different aspects of meditation that we can benefit from, such as insight, enlightenment. These are all scientific proven results. SAT scores rise. It helps with anxiety, PTSD, self-awareness, resilience, all these things. But for the moment, we can think for the wellness industry and the wellness program, the first function of mindfulness can be to introduce it as a formal meditation program to deal with the mind, emotion, and the spirit. So this will be our kind of healing, our mind to refresh, right? So Professor Kessler has done a wonderful job leading us through a breath work. And I'm going to take that just slightly further based on his stuff. And we're just going to do a very brief meditation, probably about 2 minutes, to see what this is like. And first, I would invite you, everybody watching, everyone sitting here, to just close their eyes gently. And then in your seat, why don't we try rocking from side to side. And then as we do, naturally finding a center of gravity where we stop. And you find that our body knows our center, knows where our center of being is. Now let's feel into the feet, sensation of the foot on the ground. And we've been standing on this ground or this earth all day, but this might be the first time we're recognizing the sensation of sturdiness. And this is the foundation of our existence. And imagine we're rooting down into the earth through our feet. Now feeling into our spines, let's try and sit tall, as if our spinal bones are stacked on top of each other like coins, sitting like a proud mountain. Now let's collectively take a deep breath in through the nose and a deep breath out through the mouth. One more time, deep breath in through the nose, deep breath out through the mouth. And knowing that this intentional breathing helps us get to our parasympathetic nervous system. It relaxes us. Now let's just go back to our natural breath. There's nothing to do, nothing to control. Our body knows how to breathe. And let's bring our awareness to the fact that we're breathing. We have about 13,000 breaths a day. How many breaths have I recognized today? Perhaps this is the first breath that I've recognized. Noticing that there is an in-breath and an out-breath. And if your mind is going wild, thinking about what am I doing here? Am I meditating properly? Is this working? Just bringing gentle awareness to that and knowing that that's perfectly natural. Just like our nose smells, just like our eyes look, our brains are meant to think. It's okay. Bringing awareness back to the breath, the natural breath. Now I invite you to roll your shoulders slightly back, opening up the chest, standing slightly taller and relaxing your belly. And why don't we move our chin slightly higher, just an inch. And let's wear a soft smile on our faces. Good. And although our eyes are closed, let's imagine we're looking very, very far ahead of us. And then bringing our sensation back to the breath, feeling ever more open, feeling ever more relaxed. Let's do nothing. And bring awareness to how that nothingness is so loud, so many sounds, so many movements that I hadn't noticed. But this is the present moment. Everything is alive, everything is moving, just like me. Now I'm going to bring this short meditation to an end, and I invite you to, at the sound of the bell, slowly open your eyes, but try and look as far as you can and look at each corner of the room and see how that feels. All right, thank you guys. It's very difficult to get into an intense or deep sense of mindfulness or peace, but hopefully you've got some sense of what it feels like to get away from our minds, our thoughts and feelings, and get back into the present moment. And normally we're so focused on things, the presentation, taking information, and just a brief moment of coming back into the present, and then in opening up. So if you imagine this in a wellness program, we're going to have singing bowls, we're going to have incense sticks, we're going to have the beautiful nature. So this is going to be the first benefit. It's just we're going to take a relax and we're going to refresh our minds. So hopefully that gave you a good sense. So this is the second way I think mindfulness interacts with wellness. And it's as a modifier of wellness. So if you remember back to the definition of mindfulness, it's about a certain mental state. It's about being present in the moment, awareness of the present. That means we can do every activity with a sense of mindfulness. We can eat mindfully, we can talk mindfully, we can listen mindfully, we can interact with nature mindfully, we can be mindful of our health. There are so many ways in which we can be mindful, and this is just a depiction of the different dimensions of wellness and how we can start changing each and any of them into an extra mindful activity. So mindfulness can act as a magnifier of experience. While we were sitting here, our experience of sitting here had expanded because we were trying to be present. And same, if I asked you how many times do you look at your phone during any of these presentations? Timeless. And that's okay. Research shows, Harvard research shows that leaders, business leaders, spend more than 50% of their time being distracted in business meetings. We're not actually present in any of these. So as a consumer, you're in a spa, having a wonderful wellness experience, but you're checking your phone, posting on Instagram. How much of this experience are you actually having, right? So one of the things as consumers and participants is to be mindful when we're consuming our wellness experience. The second thing is for service providers. We can have really fun wellness activities, but we can let participants have a much deeper experience by guiding them to be more present with the activities we give them. That can be yoga, that can be hiking, that can be eating. Hey guys, put the phone aside, put your judgments aside, let's just do this. Let's just meet nature, for example, right? And finally, for program developers, to see mindfulness as more than just a mental activity where we're doing meditation. That we can bring a quality of mindfulness into any of these wellness activities. And when we're training people to help guide these activities, for service providers to also embody a sense of mindfulness, and present momentness can amplify the experience that consumers can have when they experience wellness services. The third way is this. Mindfulness as meta wellness. And what does this mean? I'm going to break this down into 2 points. And the first is with regards to wellness provision. So some of us here are wellness providers, service providers. And what does this mean? I see a lot of wellness services, including meditation and yoga and things, used as a kind of a consumable. That customers come, have an experience, consume it, have a brief sense of relief, and then go home, and then everything goes back to what it was, which normally isn't great. And they need another break, right? But if we can build in individuals, cultivate a deeper sense of self-love and self-care, and we've talked about it, then that helps us actually have a more sustained sense of demand for wellness. So I would like to suggest that we try and substitute thinking about the wellness industry as consumption-based to try and instill upon customers and consumers as something about self-care. And I say this because when I look at, for example, yoga, Pilates industry, I look at my Instagram, people or even service providers are getting increasingly anxious. I need to be more pretty, I need to be eating more healthily, and providing wellness services to feed this anxiety ends up becoming a non-wellness outcome. We're making people start comparing about how well you are. Are you drinking that kombucha cha? Are you meditating every day? Are you on a diet? Is that cool? And sure, we can use that to try and generate more income and revenue, but ultimately I think that will be self-defeating. Another way is to empower individuals to start going, I love myself, I care myself, I want myself to be better. Remember, the definition of wellness is meant to be self-directed. Build that capacity, and I believe that that demand will be sustained anyway. And my suggestion is we can do things like loving kindness meditation, metta meditation, which has a long tradition. So this can be a suggestion. And for service providers also to embody this philosophy, not as just giving an experience and a service that is super exciting in an Instagrammable moment, but actually giving them a sense of self-worth so they can start sustaining their path towards ever more wellness. And that's to embody activeness and self-directedness myself, but also some sense of holisticness. I understand as someone who spreads meditation, I try not to just talk about meditation, because it's multidimensional, right? As yoga teachers, as meditation experts, as nutrition experts, we also need some sense of the holistic. So as program providers, we also want to be training ourselves to understand where we fit in this holistic wellness service provision. Oops. So the second part about meta wellness that mindfulness can do is for consumers. And I'm not sure how I can play this. So this is a clip. Can I get some help in playing that? So in the middle is hashtag wellness from my Instagram account just a couple of days ago. I'm seeing abs. I'm seeing biceps. I'm seeing chest. I'm seeing super cool people. I'm seeing babies with biceps. Avocados have to happen. Six packs, of course. Lots of food that I haven't seen before. Pools, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And I'm thinking, I'm far from that. And I'm a meditation, and I share meditation and wellness. Let's have a look at some other stuff then. This is BIWC. Some of this has been mentioned, but you can't really see it, but the average person spending money on wellness tourism is 178% more. That's great if you're search for it. You're like, yeah, it's good for the money, right? Travelers in wellness tourism are spending $14,000 a night. Whoops, $1,400 a night, sorry. And this woman, who is on a wellness week, had just spent $1,000 trying to be well. And if I'm trying to think about how to be well, I'm just Googling, and this is some of the stuff that comes. There are 30 ways to do it. This is a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on. There is a lot of stuff where I'm starting to feel, can I even be well? Can I even afford to be well? Out of the 30 activities, I already have a million things to do. I need to also add a diet routine. I need to also add a meditation routine. I need to also have abs. I need to also have biceps. I'm gonna have a baby, but I also need to look super well. And this is quite tiring. So we need to treat this also mindfully, because as we talked about, there's a lot of interest in this area. There's a lot of money, there's a lot of well-to-do people, and it's generating a lot of products, a lot of services for us to do, and it's bombarding us with information. And as consumers, even as a mindfulness teacher, I find it very overwhelming. So let's try and be mindful of our needs. And the definition here that I talked about was present moment, awareness of the present moment. Dr. John Kabat-Zinn also added in an interview, sometimes I add to this definition that hopefully this is in the service of self-understanding and wisdom. What does that mean? That means we bring that attention, that quality of the mind that's in the present moment, onto ourselves for self-understanding, and also on the things like the wellness industry. Like, how much of this do I really need, right? So we can apply this mindfulness to the wellness and all that mumbo-jumbo that we saw, from abs to pecs to unsustainable diets for some, me. I know I can't sustain those diets. And these very central questions, which is the key to self-consciousness and self-directedness, right? Am I well? Am I fulfilled? Sure, we can ask an expert, but surely I know that answer. Why don't we just sit a moment and go, do I need this? Do I feel well? Do I feel fulfilled? And this is a self-reflection exercise and a capacity that I need to build. And then and then what are my intentions? Do I really want to be well? And no matter how many times I can consume wellness products, it's ultimately up to me to go down that path and to do it, and to pursue it, right? So building that capacity too. So I think we're very good on time. I would like to try and tap into a bit of that here as mindful wellness experts as well as consumers, to try and tap into this sense of self-capacity, self-directedness, to see whether we understand our needs and we can navigate between all this wealth of information about what it means to be well in this day and age, right? So if you're ready, I would invite you to bring your pencil and paper out, or pen, and you're going to divide the paper into 4 quadrants. And you're not going to be showing anybody this, so it can be a really crappy version of it. It can be really wobbly, it's all right. No judgments, remember. Non-judgments. It's all cool. And in the 4 quadrants, we're going to write 4 words. Mind, spirit, body, community, home, and then work. And when we've done that, you can just put your pen down so I know that we can proceed. So again, it's mind, spirit, body, community or home, and work. So when we're done, I think we are nearly done, I invite you to close your eyes again and just take collectively a deep breath in together with me. A deep breath in through the nose and a deep breath out through the mouth. And then ask yourself this question. How am I doing? Am I well? Am I fulfilled? Now your mind is going to be wondering, trying to find an answer. It's okay. We're not trying to find an answer. We're just observing what arises in the heart. Am I well? How am I doing? Am I fulfilled? And when you open your eyes now, I would like you to write for about 4 minutes how you feel about these questions for the 4 different dimensions in your life. And this is not a writing project, so just write whatever comes. Anything that comes. And if you have difficulty writing in a certain quadrant, that's also okay. So about 4 minutes writing about how you feel your life is in these 4 dimensions. So I'll give you about 4 minutes, and at the end, I will ring the bell. So we have about 1 minute left. It's just writing whatever comes to mind. So bringing that to a close, and I invite you to just read over what you've written for about 30 seconds. And just read it over slowly. And if you like, you can underline anything that seems interesting or circle anything. Good. Then we're going to move on to our next prompt. What is one action I can do in each of these areas where I think I can be, I won't say better, more fulfilled or more wholesome? And it can be grand, or it can be really simple, like, I'm going to drink one more cup of water today. I'm going to go to the gym once a week. Or I'm going to sit for 2 minutes. I'm going to listen to music. I'm going to say thank you to my loved one. I'm going to spend 5 minutes with my children, fully present. Anything. Or I'm going to apologize to the colleague that I had a fight with. Or not, I'm going to punch him in the face. It's okay. It doesn't need to all be super mindful and peaceful. It's okay. So I'll give you about 2 minutes to write that down, anything that comes to mind. About a minute left. What can I do that's tangible, that I can improve my wellness? These 4 areas. Bringing that to a close, and again inviting you to just read over what you've written. Underlining anything that seems interesting. And we're going to do a final sit together. So wherever we are, wherever we're seated, feeling our feet on the ground, sensations of the ground again, reconnecting with this earth. Gently closing our eyes if we haven't, and relaxing our shoulders, our chest, particularly our bellies. We tend to get tight around here. Let's take one deep breath in through the nose. Long breath out through the mouth. One more time. Deep breath in through the nose. Stopping at the top. 2, 3. And letting go. And then bringing our awareness to our natural breath. Again, nothing to do. Nothing to control. Just sitting here. Let's bring to mind our recent activity, the stuff that I wrote down, the things that I wrote to better my life. How many times have I sat down and asked myself, am I well? Am I fulfilled? Normally, our answers are in response to other people's questions. But how many times have we actually asked ourselves that? Am I okay? And it's simple. Recognizing also that the solutions for my well-being and my wellness have come from myself. Not from the person standing at the podium, not from a wellness expert, but from myself. And recognizing that, I invite you to put one hand on your chest and feel the heart, feel the chest. I invite you to press a little harder onto the chest, feel the pressure. And let's imagine ourselves sitting here with our hands on our chest. What I'm wearing, my eyes closed and my hands on my chest. It's kind of a silly sight. But here I am, spending this moment asking myself if I'm well, meeting myself where I am. And what I've just done is I tapped into my inner wisdom about who I want to become, how I want to be well. And let's send my heart a short word of gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for spending time with me. And let's meet again. And whatever sensation we're feeling now, just staying with that for a moment. A sense of gratitude, a sense of wiseness, a sense of knowingness. Just sitting with that. And then, if we're in this room, imagining the faces in this room that we've sat together. Sending each and every one of us a sense of gratitude that we shared this moment together. And gently putting our hands down. And with the sound of the singing bowl, I invite you to open your eyes and recognize how you feel. A little different, a little wiser. Thank you, that's me. And I think my one takeaway for everyone is this, that there's going to be a lot of exciting things in wellness and mindfulness, but to remember that the compass is within us and it's not that difficult to navigate. Just taking a moment, sitting down with myself and asking the question, and that's it. So thank everyone for participating. And if we're okay with questions, we can take a few of them too. Thank you.
Fantastic. Fantastic presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Ashton Cho. So we said if there was time for questions, we would add them in, but I think we've got a lot of questions here on the live chat. So thank you to all of our viewers who are watching at home. And also, if we have any questions here from the audience, then please do put your hands up and we'll answer the questions. Thank you so much for that session. I feel very relaxed. I have a question from Kaiyin Yang, who says, do I have to sit to meditate mindfully?
The short answer to that is no. I'm wondering how she wants to do it.
My question to the questioner would be, try out whatever you want to do, even a handstand. And let me know whether you can be mindful. Mostly you can.
Thank you for your answer, and thank you for that question.
Thank you.
Next question is from Kennedion, that says, thank you, I have a question. How can I implement mindfulness in the workplace?
Excellent question. So many ways. It depends. I would invite you to try to insert mindfulness in the workplace where you automatically do something without thinking. For example, opening the door to the meeting room, powering on your computer, chugging your coffee while checking your email, and just stopping, coming back to the breath, and then asking, how do I want to be present for this? So that will help you bring more intention and presence to any activity you do at workplace. Thank you for the question.
Thank you for the answer. And same person has a different question. So aside from the exercises, the walking, the yoga, the deep breathing, and so on, what else can we do to stimulate mindful wellness?
So we've had walking. What did we have?
Walking, yoga, deep breathing, and so on. What else can we do to stimulate mindful wellness?
So a lot of the list there sounds like formal meditation techniques. Just like the question that the questioner asked before, I invite you to try and have a moment of mindfulness in your day, not just at work, but in the morning. For example, when I wake up, the mood that we have typically dictates our mood throughout the day. Bring a sense of mindfulness to that. Waking up, taking a deep breath, and seeing what emotions arise. And then going, how do I want my day to go? Bring intention into that. And you can find that you can be mindful at pretty much any activity, and that is as powerful as sitting down for a cushion meditation. Thank you for the question.
Thank you for your answer. All right, do we have, we've got a few comments here. We've got Bang Bang English says, OMG, why do I feel guilty hearing all of this? Lol. I think that's something that you touched upon in your presentation. We've got so much information out there. People are almost competing to be more well. I'm sure our listeners and our viewers would love to hear your thoughts on how that is, or what you think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I find one of the largest contradictions currently with, at least in the field of mindfulness, is that this is becoming another criteria which to judge myself, to criticize myself, and to compare myself. Let's not do that. This is one area where we're actually doing it for ourselves. So sure, I've given you all these different ways and techniques and stuff. If you don't have the time to be mindful, that's all right. Remember, each time you criticize yourself, you're also building up and reinforcing your relationship with yourselves to not like yourself. And that's just not good for your health. So if you're in this path, if you're trying out meditation, a bunch of self-compassion, so much self-compassion is needed. Thanks.
Thank you. And do we have any questions here from our audience? Is there anyone who would like to pose a question to Dr. Cho? No? We're good? Let me just double check here. We've got Nathan Jacobson saying, preach! And also Chung Name saying, I'm feeling guilty to watch this live for free. We do accept donations, so you can just send them to my personal, just kidding. Yeah, it's an absolute treasure trove of information. And I want to say personally, thank you so much to all of our speakers, and Dr. Cho, just fantastic, wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
You can, of course, find more information at Mindfulness Korea. There's lots of stuff on social media, and Dr. Cho actually does very often many live broadcasts in Korean, mostly in Korean, right? But also possibly English?
Yeah, if people interested.
So, 관심이 많이, that's Korean. So please be very interested. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Please put your hands together for a fantastic presentation, Dr. Ashton Cho.
Thank you.
고맙습니다.